Hello, fellow nerds, and welcome to Our Nerdiest Thing. Today, we have a very special guest, author Theresa Kay. Theresa writes stories that feature flawed characters, found family, and a bit of romance in science fiction, urban fantasy, and paranormal worlds. She's constantly lost in one fictional universe or another and is a self proclaimed fangirl who loves being sucked into new books, movies, or TV shows. Living in the mountains of Central Virginia with her husband and two kids, she spends her free time reading tons of books, binging anime and Doctor Who, and playing Tomb Raider and Assassin's Creed. Welcome to the podcast, Theresa.
Hi.
Theresa, this is Deborah. I kind of want to be best friends with you. I heard Doctor Who, Assassin's Creed, and Fangirl. I think we could probably hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit more about yourself, Theresa.
I'm really awful about talking about myself, but
okay.
This is my first year as a full-time author. I used to be a paralegal, so it's kind of been an adjustment.
That's awesome.
Actually, not having to do anything.
That's amazing, though. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I have two dogs. And
what kind
I don't know,
of
there's not really much. They're both hound dogs. One's a beagle mix and one's like a foxhound mix.
Oh, we're looking to get a dog in my family with my two kids, but they're all wanting like a cavapoo or cavoodle or whatever they're called.
The world is that.
Yeah, and they're like they want little lap dogs, which I don't think your dogs are little lap dogs. They sound
no, they're not. They're like 50 pounds.
Oh, woo.
Theresa, do you live on land? Are they hunting dogs or are they inside dogs?
They're inside dogs. They're spoiled inside dogs.
Well, most inside dogs are spoiled.
Yeah.
That's the fun of them, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they get treated like people.
Oh, yeah. Right. Do they eat people food?
Occasionally.
I know. I think sometimes some pets get fed better than the children do, unfortunately. Well, not unfortunately for the pet, but I would love to just hear a little bit about, especially since you just told us that you have switched from being a paralegal. How did you get into writing? What drew you into this field full time?
Well, I have been writing for a while. I started writing like little one-off stories when I was a kid in like elementary school. I had a really great teacher when I was in fourth grade who, kind of understood that I didn't like to sit still and like pay attention to things because, ADD. So she just kind of let me go back to like the, classroom computer because this was, back in the 90s. When we had the one computer in each classroom that was
Right.
like the old, Apple Mac II or whatever they were. And she just used to let me, play on the word processor and write stories when I was feeling like particularly like, hyper or something. And then, I kind of grew up and kind of lost touch with it for a while. And then I got my first Kindle. And I started interacting with a lot of indie authors, and I actually started beta reading for some.
Oh, cool.
And I kind of got into it. I was like, well, I used to love doing this. I still love reading, so might as well give it a shot. So I did a NaNoWriMo. It was actually Camp NaNoWriMo, which is what happens like in the spring and summer.
Right.
And my first book was written during a NaNoWriMo. Well, the bones of my first book was written during NaNoWriMo.
I was about to say, I'm really impressed.
It's a very different book from that really messy first draft. And then I kind of wrote like, in my free time when I was still working full time. And then my boss retired last year. So I went full-time writer.
Oh, that's wonderful. So you just saw it as a sign and an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Do you miss practicing in the law field at all?
Not really. I just picked up some like contract work, just doing some legal research recently. So, but that's just a little bit of my time.
Right.
I definitely don't miss going into an office every day. I like being at home.
Yeah, I think the pandemic changed everyone's minds on being in the office.
Yes.
I like to be business shirt and pajama pants.
I'm leggings all day, every day, unless I actually have to go like be in public somewhere.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about your book Forbidden Legacy.
Forbidden Legacy is the first book in my new urban fantasy series. It's like kind of like my first foray into actual urban fantasy. My Academy series, I guess, is kind of urban fantasy, like under that kind of genre umbrella, but Forbidden Legacy is more like actual urban fantasy. It's about a ward-breaking thief who ends up way over her head when a job goes wrong. She's sent in to steal a necklace, and instead she finds that the safe she was supposed to be breaking into is empty, and then there's a dead body on the floor. She gets arrested. Of course, they find out rather quick. They figure out rather quickly that she didn't, kill anyone. But the person who was killed was a very high-profile Autumn Court Fae, and his grandson comes searching for Ari because he knows that she was there stealing something, and he was like, "Well, you need to help me get this necklace back now. If you didn't take it, you need to help me find out who did."
Interesting. So can I ask why Autumn Fae as opposed to any other court? You had said that it was an Autumn Court Fae, right? Mm-hmm. So I was just wondering why you chose Autumn Court instead of any of the other Fae courts that are usually in urban fantasy.
It varies based on different books, but I chose to do like the seasonal courts just to keep it somewhat simple. There's only 4 of them.
Right. Great.
And that's just kind of how the story like came to me, I guess.
This is Mindy, by the way, Theresa. It's nice to talk with you today. I love autumn, so that's my favorite season. So I'm always drawn to autumn as well. What are your favorite types of stories to write? Like, do you always like to write urban fantasy, or do you have other things you dabble in?
I dabble in a little bit of everything. The only thing I don't think I'm really any good at writing is contemporary. I just like, there has to be like some, werewolf or vampire or something like that in there, some spaceships, something. I can't do contemporary.
That's funny. That's what we like to read.
I was just thinking, yeah.
My husband always says, he goes, "Oh, have you read this book?" And I'll look at him and go, "Is there a vampire in it?" Because if so, no, if there's not a vampire, I don't want to read it.
I think it's hard to write contemporary because you have to be very conscientious of not dating the book. Like, you know what I mean? Like it has to be sort of vague and generic about the kinds of things that they're doing and talking about, because otherwise it'll get dated in 10 years and those things won't be talked about anymore. So I can see why that would
all the conflict is like internal or interpersonal. Like
that's true.
Yeah. So on the flip side, what kind of stories do you like to read?
I read pretty much anything with a little bit of romance to it. Like I literally read pretty much anything. I read a lot.
Romance?
Yes, I do read sports romance.
I'm a hockey romance fan, and nobody else is. Nobody else in my circle is.
Mindy's all a puck slut.
I will say that most of the hockey romances I have read have been MM. So.
Yeah, there are a lot of them out there. I haven't gotten to.
Yes, there are.
Yet, but I've heard some good things about certain ones. So
I really enjoy MM. I think there's just something. It's like having 2 bad boys. Well, it is having. But one of this author that we love in Kentucky named J.R. Ward, that's where we live, Theresa, is in Kentucky. But she has this huge series, but at one point the 2 best friends that are guys kind of start falling for each other, and it takes like 12 books or something. Yeah. And then
that's Black Dagger Brotherhood, right?
Yes, it is. Yeah. So Blay and Quinn, and that I think is one of the best books in her series, because it's like that super long slow burn, and I like the MM.
The slow burn is 12 books.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized. I clearly have not read that. But
Well, I mean,
that's a
no,
long time.
no, there's a story in each book, but those two hooking up
Yeah.
is like 12 books.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a long burn.
Yeah, it's a good burn.
It is. It's worth it in the end.
Yeah, it sure is.
Well, Theresa, you're a self-proclaimed fangirl. So what kind of fandoms do you love to be a part of? I know Doctor Who for sure, right?
Yes, Doctor Who, definitely. If we were doing this on video, you could see that my background is actually the interior of the TARDIS. But
I love that.
Who's your favorite Doctor, Theresa?
The 10th Doctor.
Well, of course, David Tennant, right?
Yes, I actually got to meet him last weekend.
Oh,
really?
that's so cool.
Where were you?
Yes. GalaxyCon in Richmond.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Who was that?
It was really fun. Saturday was a little bit oversold.
Oh,
no.
And it was very, very crowded. And I'm glad I got my photo op with David Tennant on Friday, because like going through that on Friday was like nothing. Like I was really surprised it went so quickly. But on Saturday, because John Barrowman was there too, Captain Jack Harkness.
Oh, yeah.
I had a photo op with him on Saturday. And it like I stood in like this little cattle pen essentially with like, I don't know, a few hundred people in this very small area for like an hour and a half. And it was like, this is like driving me insane.
Yeah, we did several supernatural conventions together, the three of us, and the photo ops and meet and greets for Jensen and Jared, the two main guys, were always like crazy long and took forever. And it always kind of bummed me out. The really cool actors that play like smaller characters that nobody like does photo ops with, and it didn't take hardly any time at all to do. It's like, they're cool too, guys.
Right. And you know what? They were really the most fun.
They
too,
were.
so there wasn't as much pressure. But Theresa, we always joke, I'm interested to know this about John Barrowman too. We always joke at those cons whenever you're having pictures with the main guys, all of the chests are suddenly out. Like everyone's wearing a sweater and then suddenly everyone's wearing like a crop top with a deep V. Is that how it was with John Barrowman too?
Well, I actually specifically waited until Saturday for my photo op with him because it was sold as a photo op of him in cosplay. Nice. And he's actually wearing a it's almost like a jersey type shirt, except it's like the TARDIS, and the windows are the like sequined LGBT flags.
Cool.
And then he has on sequined short shorts, and he's wearing white high heels.
Oh my gosh. Will you please send us a copy of that picture? Yes. I really need to see it.
Sure.
I would love that. And we can post it with this episode if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, that would be cool. So, Theresa, now we're going to do what we call our nerdy and dirty speed round. So I'm just going to give you some prompts, and we just want you to answer as quickly as you can. Don't really think about it. Just the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Favorite cocktail or mocktail?
I'm more of a beer drinker.
Okay. Favorite fandom?
Doctor Who.
Yeah. Most binge-worthy TV?
Doctor Who.
Yeah. Guilty pleasure?
Eating Nutella with a spoon.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Doctor Who again. I was going to tell you that was okay.
I think people should feel guilty about what they like.
No, I agree.
Yes.
Nutella is a good choice for that one, though. A book character that you would get nerdy and dirty with?
This is like so much like trying to pick my favorite book.
That's true.
I'll say Kaz Brecker.
Oh, nice. Nice choice. Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Jacob.
Who is your book boyfriend or bestie?
This is going back to trying to pick my favorite book.
It doesn't have to be your number one. We won't hold you to that. Just somebody.
Jamie Fraser from Outlander.
Yes, that is the right answer. Yes, correct. Good job. Who is your book girlfriend or bestie?
I think I'll say Claire Fraser because I think she's wonderful.
She really is. Those are great choices. Smut or plot?
Plot.
Favorite
Not that I mind smut.
favorite childhood book?
Okay, I was kind of a weird kid.
So were we.
But Eyes of the Dragon by Stephen King.
Oh,
that's
wow.
awesome.
That one.
That's a great choice. And
It was in a Scholastic book fair, like one of those little flyer things they used to send home. I don't know why it was in the
I
Scholastic
was gonna
book
say
fair
for
thing,
elementary
but
school.
Yeah, wow.
yes, it was elementary school.
A lot in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's a different time now.
Yeah.
And last favorite cereal.
Frosted Mini Wheats.
Ooh,
that's a good
that's
one.
my favorite too, Teresa.
It's like the perfect blend of healthy and sugar.
Yeah.
And Niall. Yeah. Okay, so Teresa, same rules, but we're going to do hot or not. And if you don't know
Okay.
who the person is, you can just pass. That's totally cool. So first one is Pedro Pascal.
I'm going to say unconventionally attractive.
Yes.
So that's an ongoing debate on the podcast because Whitney thinks he's daddy and Mindy and I do not. Okay, Miley Cyrus,
Hot.
Tessa Thompson,
Hot.
Paul Rudd,
Now or
I don't know. Has he changed any?
Any
Not much.
Paul Rudd.
I'll go with hot.
Touch Her and Die Tropes.
Hot.
Oh yeah. Sebastian Stan.
Unconventionally attractive.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's true. Jensen Ackles.
Hot.
Small Town Romance.
Sometimes hot.
Ben Barnes.
Hot.
Yeah, especially as the Darkling, right? Woo.
Yes.
Timothy Chalamet.
He's not really my type.
Agreed. That is the correct answer.
Someone that you're attracted to being sweaty after a workout.
Not.
The Rock.
I'll say hot.
Janelle Monáe.
I don't know who that is, so pass.
All right, that's fine. Pass. Tom Hiddleston.
Hot.
Miles Teller.
I recognize the name, but I'm not bringing up the face, so I don't know.
He's in the newer Top Gun. He has the mustache, and he's also in the Divergent movies. So I
Yeah,
guess
still don't know.
hot or not mustaches. That might be a better one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Not.
Second Chance Romance.
Hot.
And Kristen Stewart.
I'm going to go with unconventionally attractive because she's, I don't know, because sometimes she's hot, but sometimes she's not. So I don't know.
So we're going to see you at Imaginarium here, gosh, in like 6 weeks. It's not very far away at all. But what other projects or festivals or events do you have coming up this year?
I also have the Fredericksburg Independent Book Festival in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I believe that's on June 17th. That is a free event for readers.
Awesome.
So
That's not far from us, actually.
yeah, it is also outside. So
That is
So
a good,
wear
good
sunscreen.
detail.
I'm like, you're people that stay in and read, go outside. What's happening?
And then I guess my next project that I'm working on is I'm working on the last book in my Raven Crest Academy series. And then I also have a Kindle Bella serial that's written under a pen name that I'm turning into a book to release this summer.
Oh, that's great.
awesome.
Please tell us when that's ready.
Okay.
We would love to read it. We can do cover reveal and stuff too if you'd like.
Sure.
Besides that, how else can we best support your work?
I guess reviews. I mean, everyone says reviews. They're very important, even if you're just doing like a star rating. And then past that, I'd say telling your friends about the books that you like. And then this is going to sound like kind of like a weird one, but like let the author know that you like their book, because sometimes it's like working in like a big, cone of silence where you don't know if what you're writing is getting to anybody, or so sometimes like those little like one-line emails like, hey, I really liked your book, like can really make someone's day.
Yeah, you're not the first author that's told us that. Where else besides Instagram can we find you online?
I am also on Facebook. I have a TikTok, but I don't really use it.
Also something because I hear often.
I find that I'll go to TikTok, and then I'll just like start scrolling, and then I'll look up 3 hours later and I'll be like, no.
So like I just can't. Vacuum, isn't it?
Yes, it really is. I don't really post a lot on social media. But I am responsive to people who email me and stuff. I do have a newsletter that I send out like, I think once a month right now. And then I also have a Facebook readers group, which I still don't post very much in there, but that's probably where I post the most.
Okay, well, good to know. So finally, for our final question on our podcast, we always end with the nerdiest thing of the week. So it's something that we've done the past week that we considered kind of nerdy or even just fun. So we would like to know what your nerdiest thing of the week is.
That was probably going to GalaxyCon. I took my youngest teen and their friend with me. So I went to GalaxyCon and then was promptly ditched. So I was mostly spent the entire weekend by myself at GalaxyCon. I mean, by myself and like a huge number of people. But yeah,
and like thousands and thousands of your best friends.
Yeah.
That sounds really fun, though, honestly.
Well, you kind of like, especially since the David Tennant was there, and I would kind of fell in with like certain groups of people that I would often see repeatedly at different events that I was also going to, like John Barrowman's panel. I would see all the people that I saw at David Tennant's panel, type of thing. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, Theresa, thank you so much for being on the podcast with us today and for chatting with us. Sorry that we weren't able to do it on video, but we will be at Imaginarium and we will meet each other face to face.
Yes.
Well, thank you so
much.
I
will email you that picture so you can see what John Barrowman was wearing. Wait. It was lovely.
Can't wait.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.